Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another week of Focused at
Is that
40.
voice?
We were totally out of sync for that one. I am Kathy Goodall.
And I'm Genesis Etienne, guys. How are you today?
We're so happy that you're able to join us for another episode. If you've missed the first couple of episodes, we ask you to go back and listen to them. Like, subscribe, share, comments. We would love your feedback. We would also love your comments on anything that we've said, any topics that we've talked about. We also want you to share with us anything that you would like us to talk about. We're going to be bringing guests on the show real soon to talk about different topics. So experts in different things. So let us know what it is that you want us to talk about.
Absolutely.
Hi, Jen.
Hi, baby. How are you?
I'm great. What were you saying?
I said, and follow us on Instagram at Focused at 40.
Oh, yes. See, that's why we're a team. So today we wanted to talk about what does it mean to be a woman at 40 and how has that changed for us, or has it changed for us? So go ahead, Jen, you first.
So, I've been 40 a little longer than you.
Yes.
Right? Like a whole year. But I think that being a woman at 40, so it comes with changes, right? Our bodies are changing. But I feel like I'm the best version that I've ever been of myself, right? In so many different ways. In terms of being a woman, my identity is really strong around being a mother, right? Being a woman in a male-dominated workforce, being a provider, right? So
Yeah.
I wasn't a provider in my 30s, right? I wasn't the main provider. I wasn't the one providing. I am the full provider right now, I'm also at the best place that I've been in my career, even as a woman. I feel like I'm, I may have the little Botox here and there, but I don't think I've been cuter. I haven't been in better shape. I haven't felt more sexy probably ever in my life, or sensual, or okay with being soft, right? I think that for a long time, I felt like I had to kind of be hard and strong, and just recently in the past few years, I feel like I can be soft again. And that doesn't make me a weak woman, right? It makes me a feminine woman, right? I feel like for a long time, I was kind of operating from a masculine perspective because I was in survival mode the past few years, and it's easier to do that when you're not soft, when it's harder for things to be able to kind of get inside of you. And now I feel like I'm at a place where I think I'm the best version that I've been thus far, So my definition of being a woman at 40 has been very empowering. It feels good. It feels good. It feels good to be a woman. What about you? How has it changed for you?
Yeah, I think it's been such a transition. I went from, society, and in our last episode, you talked about the way that we are raised culturally. And my mother had always raised me to be very independent and to not depend on anybody, especially depend on a man for nothing, right?
My mom too.
And so I've always been extremely independent. From I was a child. I was a tomboy growing up. We were in college, I used to always have on pants. If they wanted me in a dress, it was somebody's closet that we were going to get a dress or a skirt for me to put on.
It was my closet. It was my closet.
Because that just wasn't me. Heels, all of that jazz was just not my life. And it's funny because I even worked in a model agency at one point. And so you're surrounded by all these beautiful women, and all of my girlfriends are girly girls, right? They love to dress up. And they're all good looking, if I do say so.
Yeah,
myself.
you have beautiful friends. You do have beautiful friends. Hey, girl.
Yeah, who have always embraced their femininity, right? I think at some point in my life, because of my insecurities, it was easier for me to shy away from embracing being feminine. And so it was easier to just be a tomboy. And even as I got older, in my 20s, when I moved back to Jamaica and I started working in corporate, and I had to actively think about, what does my appearance look like? Every time I wore a dress to the office, it was a big to-do. And so
For you or for the others? For you or for the people that you were working with?
for the people that I was working with. So I just shied away from wearing them. But as I moved up more in corporate and I had to be a lot more sophisticated and corporate, I started to wear dresses more often. And the beauty about it was when I transitioned from one job to the next, it was like I got a chance to rebuild or rebrand during that time. So like when I transitioned from my first job in Jamaica to my second job to my third job, it was a lot more corporate space. And so I was wearing heels a lot more. I was wearing dresses a lot more. And my entire closet, my wardrobe just shifted.
Did it shift you at all? Did it shift how you felt and how you felt about yourself?
Yes, and that's what I was going to say. And it empowered me in a different way that I didn't even understand at first. You talk about the power suit and just getting dressed up. It actually works, right?
I agree. Yes.
It works. It makes it like I felt like a boss. So I'm, in my dress and my heels and, and I felt like a big woman, right?
So cute.
But now that I have left corporate and I'm working in my own space, I get to do what I want. I get to wear what I want. I realize that I've embraced my femininity in a different way. And like you, I've softened a lot because I went from being so independent to the point where I didn't know how to receive anything from anybody.
Yes.
And that also affected my relationships because, you don't allow a man to be a man.
Correct.
To know softening and understanding what we talked about a couple episodes ago of interdependence and allowing a man to be a man and not having to be so hard all the time and not having to do everything all the time. And even just the colors in my wardrobe stay the same, but the types of clothes I buy are sometimes different. I'm always going to be a jeans girl, but I don't have a problem now putting on a dress. I don't have a problem now. I remember a couple of years ago, my friends would tell you my idea of lip gloss is Blistex, right? But hey, look, I have on
CarMax.
Yeah, girl. Look, I have on some lipstick now. So, I'm a work in progress.
No, you have been a work in progress. I have been watching you for 20 years, boo. You are here now, girl. You are here. She has arrived, folks. She has arrived.
But I don't know that I've arrived, but I'm getting there.
What I think is really interesting, though, is that you're back to our original ideas of what women should be, right? So it didn't come natural for you to necessarily be what you're supposed to be or what society asks you to be. You're there now, which is really interesting because of the shift. I don't know that many, 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 many years ago in our mother's time, that women started independent. They almost had to get there because of, their husbands or something that happened, or, they grew up in a home where they needed to provide. And so that independence comes from there. But women have traditionally been asked to be soft and demure and that way. And so for our generation, and maybe our mother's generations too, these women are hard, strong women in that particular time. But I think it's interesting that we're now embracing femininity, that I'm now, and you too, that I'm now going back to a place of allowing for myself to be soft, needing that for myself. I don't want to be hard. I do not want to be hard.
And what's interesting too, I think because I've been independent for so long, it's like, and because I'm so used to taking care of everybody else, it's like, I want somebody to take care of me now.
Girl, you too, girl.
Yeah, it's like, it's overrated. I think it's overrated. I think there's a place for it because I will say that I wouldn't have.
Wait, what's overrated? What's overrated?
The whole idea of independence. So for me, it's like a catch-22, right? Because you can either come from the school of you need to be a mom and a wife and a homemaker, or you need to be independent and have your own stuff and chase your career. I don't know that we've ever actually been taught the balance of it all.
Agreed. And I don't know how to do that either. I feel like, I feel like I'm learning more. But for me, for instance, going out with a man and having him pay, right?
That was a big deal. Like, I have my money too. I don't need your money.
Well, it's interesting because I grew up with a very traditional mother and father. My
Yeah.
father paid for everything, but my mother worked her ass off. So
Mhm.
he paid, but they worked together to make that happen. And so I feel like I have that same kind of idea. But I don't know, a very real part of me is like, go ahead and be a man
Yeah.
because, and it could also be that
It took me a
men's
while to
roles have
appreciate that
changed
though.
too.
Yeah.
Men's roles have changed too. I feel like we got so independent and we got so strong and we got so, that these men stop remembering how to take care of a woman,
Yeah.
how to be a man, how to be a leader. And I feel like
Yeah.
at this point in my life, if you're not a leader, I don't care how much of a man you are, you need to be a leader,
Yeah.
and
But I
so maybe
also
it's
think,
independence. Go ahead.
no, I'm saying I also think at this stage in our lives, we know how we want to be treated. And so if we are not being treated that way, it's okay for us to either voice it or walk away. Whereas I think in our 20s or 30s, it was, for me at least, I was so much more accommodating that it was like, whatever makes him happy. Now it's like, what makes me happy?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that that's also the way that things have changed, right? For women, especially at this age. We are used to being caretakers.
Yeah.
I think, it's so funny that back in the day, women died after menopause because it's like once you're of no use, once you can't have any more children or take care of things or do that, you would die. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. You know what I mean? Um, and even that is changing. I mean, now, women can stay sexy and young and beautiful or, whatever it is for a much longer period of time, thanks to advances in medicine and in aesthetics and things like that. But I think that, man, being a woman it's tough, but I think I would prefer it to being a man.
Me too. I think there's so many dimensions to us. I laugh all the time and I'm just like, I don't know one man that knows how to multitask.
Facts. Facts.
I wouldn't give it up for anything. I think it comes with its challenges, but there's just so much beauty. What other creature can actually bring life into this world?
Absolutely.
None.
Absolutely.
I think our ability to be soft and our ability to be strong, I wouldn't give that up for anything. I think even though I think I wasn't able to learn the balance between, having the family and having the career, I don't know that I would have changed it or made it any different, because I think I also went on a journey of learning who I am and finding myself and owning who I am. That if I were to have been married before, I probably would still be married now.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and the focus and the energy and the effort that I put into my career was because I was passionate about it, and there wasn't a reason to detract from that path.
Right.
I think now I've done it, and I think I've accomplished so much in my career that it's like I've proven to myself, not to anybody else, that I could have done it, and I did it. And so now I get to choose what I want to do. I get to choose if I want to go back to corporate. I get to choose if I want to be a consultant. I get to choose if I want to stay at home and be a mom, or be a housewife, or just, do whatever I
The
want,
fact that you
because
even
I
get to
have put in the
choose.
work before to be able to do
Yes.
that now.
Yes. Oprah said one time, you can have it all, just not at the same time.
At the same time.
Right. So it's interesting, that I think that that's very interesting because I feel like I've almost got it all. I really do. But that little love part is still kind of off there. But I think that I'm ready for it, and I think that I am ready for it because I am much more comfortable in my womanhood, in who I am, and what I bring to the table. And what I bring to the table is valuable. I think everything that I bring to the table is valuable.
Yeah.
My spiritual, my financial, my thinking, how we live. All of those things are valuable to me, and so I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting and awesome. I think it's interesting and awesome to be a woman. I would not change it for the world. I think that it's awesome that we do have a choice. We live in a time where it's awesome to be a woman. If we had been born a century ago, it might not be. We first of all, we wouldn't even have this right, and we wouldn't even have this space to be able to do womanhood and femininity. So I'm grateful that times have changed. And it's interesting because it took independence and being strong and kind of going, operating from a masculine place to be even able to get those things.
Yeah. And
Right?
appreciate being a woman even more.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
The feminists, while I don't necessarily identify as a feminist, I'm grateful for the fight that they fought for us.
Yeah.
Because now we have a choice whether or not we want to or not, whereas before we didn't have that choice. That choice was made for us already. So I think it's awesome. I think we live in a great time. And I feel like I can fully embrace every part of me. You know what I mean? I fully embrace every part of me. The sexiness, the sensuality, the hardworking, the independent, the leader and the co-leader at the same time. I think I can do that now. And it took 40 years though, right? To be able to learn what femininity and what womanhood looks like to me. I take my mother and I have been able to extract from her all of the amazing things, and then be able to infuse into myself the things that she necessarily didn't have, because of her own conditions and because of her own
things that we
upbringing.
want to be different. It's not necessarily better or worse, but different. Maybe we want to communicate differently.
Definitely.
Maybe we want to work a little bit less. Maybe
take care of ourselves more. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I know we both grew up with mothers who were very hardworking. They were in the house, they were working, they were, dealing with the husbands and the children, all while having a career. Our mothers were able to do it.
Yeah.
Were they as happy, I feel, as maybe we are? I don't think so. Of course, they had different levels of stress and a whole different set of conditions that we have. But I want to be able to be a woman, be a mother, be a wife, be working, and be happy. And I think that it's taken this long to be able to want that and to own that,
Yeah, so the beauty of being a woman in our 40s is that we've come in to own who we are. We've come to know ourselves better. And we've come to be able to communicate who we are and what we want in a way that we weren't able to do that before. And I think also the beauty is being able to walk away from the things that don't serve us and embrace the things that do.
Yeah, correct. And I think that, in addition to all of that, I think that it's really important that we give ourselves the space to continue to develop ourselves as women. You know what I mean? We're going to change even more, right? In a few years, we're going to be having different conversations. We're going to be having conversations about how our bodies are changing yet again.
Yeah.
How do we
maintain evolution?
Yeah, so we're constantly redefining what our womanhood looks like, what our femininity looks like. And I think it's awesome that we have a space now to do that and to share that with each other even, right? To be able to hold hands, right? I mean, even this right now, women historically have looked to other women for support. Women have created communities of support, and I think that we can continue to do that. I think it's really important that we continue to do that. So even this community that we're building right now with Focused at 40, ladies, we want to know what is being a woman look like for you? What is doing womanhood and womanity, if that's such a thing? What does that look like for you, ladies? How are we every day redefining our roles as women, our expectations as women? How are we doing that?
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what age you are. I mean, at any stage that you're at, we've had people that have messaged us that are in their 50s and their 60s. I've gotten so many calls in the past week. We want you to share with us, how has the transition, how have you changed? How have you evolved over time? Because I'm sure it will help us to grow even faster and to evolve in a different way. So this space is for us to share our experiences, and we're so happy that you've decided to join us again this week. If you missed any of the episodes before, please go back and watch them. Like, share, subscribe. Comment, follow us on our Instagram at focused@40. You can find us on all the platforms at focused@40. And we look forward to you joining us again next week.
Awesome. Bye, guys.